Welcome to this episode of Junk Food on the Road. Today we are talking about
Sweden.
Sweden, our first trip to Sweden.
Bork, bork, bork.
Oh, good God. And you've already created an international incident.
There we go. So we went to, we did this was a part of a 3-stop trip. The next episode will be our last stop. Our first stop was Finland, but we already recorded an episode about Finland, and we were only there for a day. So this isn't our first time in the Nordics, is what I'm basically saying.
Yeah, we've been to Finland, and we've been to Norway for 24 hours, way up at the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah. So.
But I don't think we bought anything in Norway.
No, I don't think we could.
No.
It's funny how this
tiny town that everything closed at 4.
Yeah.
But it was light 24 hours a day.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
So Sweden. So the interesting thing about how we approached Sweden, and our first sort of tastes of Sweden, were actually on a ship. Because basically what we did is we went from Finland to Sweden on a ship, and we got the breakfast buffet.
Yeah, but there was Finnish stuff in the breakfast buffet.
There was Finnish stuff, but there was also Swedish stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. It's I mean, I think the most famous Swedish food, and we did indulge in this for sure, is the Swedish meatball.
We did get our fair share of Swedish meatballs.
So I think that's we're talking. It's funny because we tried several Swedish meatballs, and they were all different, but they all sort of tasted like they could be from IKEA.
The one at that place near the ABBA Museum was different.
Okay.
And really good. That one sort of cafeteria style.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, those were amazing meatballs.
They were good meatballs. But as far as like what you get is you get your sauce.
Yes.
You get your potatoes.
You get your jam.
You get your jam. The one thing you always got, the peas. Fresh peas were very popular.
That's true. You don't see that at IKEA.
Yeah, you don't get fresh peas.
At least in Canada. I don't think did we eat at the IKEA in Stockholm? I don't think
we did. No, which is odd now that I think about it. But
I don't think that. Oh yeah, but they did. It was more like a deli.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the IKEA isn't as appealing in.
Well, we didn't. We went to an urban.
Yeah, an urban IKEA.
Yeah, in a mall.
Yeah.
So.
But it was good. Like the meatballs were good almost everywhere. We went to a Russian restaurant,
which was amazing.
Yeah, and they actually good Swedish meatballs. That's what I got there the first time we went there.
Yeah, and I got the beef stroganoff.
And that's the pea leaves.
Yes, like pea shoots.
Yeah, they have like pea shoot leaves, like the curly part of. It's more of a mature pea. But it's like
the leaf and like
the twisty bit.
The thing that sort of makes
that seems to be on a lot of like you get the fresh peas, but you also get a few of those.
So good.
On like mashed potatoes and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's so good. It reminds me. I used to get the snow pea leaves at a Chinese restaurant in Toronto, and they tasted very similar, except these were fried in garlic butter as well.
The ones in Toronto.
The ones in Toronto, whereas these ones sometimes I think they'd be just raw. And I wasn't sure if they were a garnish, but man, they tasted good, so we ate them anyway.
Yeah, they were amazing.
They were absolutely amazing. So, I mean, that was.
Yeah, it's like count me in for those again.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed a lot in Sweden. I don't understand why, but churros.
Yeah, churros and Belgian waffles that weren't really. They were made from a batter, not a dough.
Yeah,
so.
But churros were like...
They were pretty good. Churros were super popular.
Super popular. We got churros once. They were good, but it was like kind of weird. And there was definitely... It wasn't like they were like Swedish churros. They would say like churros from Spain, quite popular. And it's like, that's weird. Like...
It's like us eating PEI lobster, I think. It's the same distance.
I guess so.
Europe is small.
Yeah, Europe is small. But it's but yeah, so we just noticed a lot of churros, which is, and they also were really into licorice.
Yep.
Like a lot of licorice stuff.
Into licorice.
You
had chicken cave as well at that restaurant, that Russian restaurant again.
Well, it's funny because the first time we went, I wasn't totally sure that it was a Russian restaurant, and they had the meatballs, so I thought, I'll get the meatballs. That sounds good. And then after I learned it was Russian or.
It's definitely Russian because if it were Ukrainian, the soup would be called borscht, but it's Russian, so it's called borscht.
Borscht. So yeah, so I got the chicken Kiev, and that was fantastic. It was super yummy. I'm trying to think of anything else that we got to eat there. Oh, the egg place.
Yes, we found a restaurant that served breakfasts,
Yeah.
sort of fast food style, but they would make omelets and scrambled eggs and
I got an
stuff.
egg pizza, which was really good.
Yeah.
So instead of a crust, it's just egg. It's like an omelet, basically. And so there's this egg place that basically, like, exclusively just eggs. Like, everything was an egg-based dish, which was made perfect for breakfast for us because our hotel didn't offer a breakfast.
Yeah.
And so it was.
Although our hotel was adorable.
Our hotel was adorable. So something that's interesting that I've found in Sweden, I didn't find this in Finland. Maybe it's made in Finland, maybe it's from Finland, but licorice ice cream is really popular. Like, every time we go to a truck stop, because we did some driving and stuff, and every time we go to like a convenience store, there's always be some kind of licorice flavored ice cream, and I even tried one, which was remarkably good. Like, there will be a review, but it was actually like remarkably good because the creaminess and everything just made it really good. Now, I got a Fazer brand, which is a popular Finnish brand of foods, but they also make things in Sweden apparently too. And the ice cream it was so good. But like, every time we go anywhere, there'd always be like licorice ice cream, a lot of gelato too, which again is weird.
We also ate at Max Burger a couple of times.
Yeah, Max Burger's a chain, quite a popular chain, and I actually kind of like it because McDonald's was okay, but it wasn't.
What really got me, and maybe this was I was in both Sweden and Denmark. McDonald's doesn't have pie.
Yes.
And there was one McDonald's we stopped at. I think it was at a truck stop. We were just gassing up or something. And on the wall, it had a big sort of sign that said "Tasty Pie."
Yeah.
And so we saw that when we walked in the door, and we went, "Oh, we should check and see if there's pie."
Yeah.
There was no pie.
Yeah.
They have "Tasty Pie" all like in like 2-foot high letters on their wall.
Yeah, I don't quite understand.
And no
that.
pie.
Yeah, McDonald's don't have pies, which means that you will not see us tasting a pie from a weird flavored pie from a different country because we couldn't get any.
There was no pie.
There was no pies at all.
I don't know if I saw any pies, period, that whole time we were there. Like any kind of pie.
I think we would have got one if we did.
Like, not a McDonald's pie, but a pie. Like just any pie.
Don't recall.
I don't know. Maybe people just eat pie, like make
Yeah.
pie at home. I don't know. Like, maybe Scandinavia isn't into pie.
Yeah. I mean, they did have these weird little nut ball things that we did. I tried one, but it wasn't.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was like these weird sort of chocolate nut things. Okay.
I don't remember.
But the other thing that they were really into candy-wise, though, is gummies.
Yeah, there were a lot of
like, you go into grocery stores and there would be a huge bulk section.
Oh, I'm not done talking about
gummies.
Max Burger, though.
Oh, okay, Max Burger.
Max Burger is sort of like the McDonald's for Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
And but when you order it on the big screens, like they have in McDonald's now, or most fast food places, there's so much choice.
Yes.
So much choice. You can substitute your French fries for onion rings. You can add all sorts of crazy stuff and get a bunch of sauces, and like, it's just an amazing amount of variety for a fast food place.
Yeah. And it's like, so basically when you order your burger, you're then, if you want to customize it, you're not sort of like, this is what you can and this is what you can't customize. You're given a list of every ingredient in there that you can pull out for, and you can probably substitute, and you're basically given every ingredient they have that you can add and subtract to. So it's almost to the point where they should just have blank burgers and be like, just what do you want?
Yeah, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was good, and the burgers were okay.
Yeah, they were.
I found on this trip, I don't think we ever ate a burger that I would be like, this is the best burger I've ever had in my life. You have to try this hamburger. But all were okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were all sort of fine, but nothing like mind-blowingly amazing.
We did go to this one steakhouse that
No, it's Copenhagen.
Yes, you're right. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Scratch that.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned for part 2 in our next.
But the breakfast buffet in Ystad was phenomenal. We ate breakfast there every morning.
Yeah. So one of the things about the culture in this part is everybody seems to have these summer homes, and so there's parts of the country that I think are dedicated to just summer homing.
Oh, not just, but
like that's during the summer
lot.
They get quite popular, and so we went to this little town in the south. So we went to Stockholm, we explored it, had a great time, went to the ABBA Museum,
ate at a really cool cafeteria style place and got Swedish meatballs that were probably the best I've ever tasted.
Yeah. And then we drove down south to a place called Ystad.
Which is spelled Ystad.
Ystad.
With a Y, but it's pronounced Ystad.
And it's just the most charming town you'll ever see in your entire life.
Oh my God, it was awesome. Our apartment was really bizarre.
Really bizarre, but the most charming town in the world. And it had all kinds of like little restaurants and everything like that. Like we went to, let's see, where did we go to eat there for dinner? I know we had.
There was that one sort of hoity-toity-ish place.
Is that the one where you got the chicken salad?
Yeah, the chickling salad.
Chickling salad. And where did we? There was someplace else.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what else we ate there.
Oh, the pizza place.
Yeah. So one of the things that
we ate the pizza place. We were there for two dinners and we had two pizzas.
Well, the reason we had pizza is we showed up there the first time and things were starting to close.
It was like close to 9 o'clock.
And it was weird for us because it was still bright day. And so there was this little pizza place just sort of almost below our apartment that we were staying. And we thought, oh, we'll just get a pizza. It'll hold us over till the next day. We ate that and it was a phenomenal pizza.
It was so amazing. And it was this Muslim family that has this pizza shop and all three of them work there. And they have, to their credit, they have taken ham to new heights. Oh. And like they serve all sorts of ham and bacon and salami on their pizzas because if you were in rural Sweden, you got to do what you got to do, and they made it work. Like it was some of the best pizza I've ever had.
The crust was
fantastic.
I don't think I've ever had such a good crust on a pizza in my life.
Yeah.
Like it was so good.
The crust made the pizza,
yes.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a good pizza, but it was like the crust was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the great part is the entertainment of the seagull that doesn't leave the store alone. And so this being a sort of coastal town, there's seagulls and they're gigantic. And there was one that was
there's a few seats on the inside of the pizza place, but most of the seating is on this like sort of patio with like an awning.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and look up at the awning and just see these giant seagull feet going across.
And if you sit in the restaurant, you can see above the awning a little bit, and all you see is the seagull staring in, watching them make the pizza. And it's hilarious.
It was really cute.
So, and it's funny because, they kind of shush it away, but they kind of don't.
Yeah.
They're not mean to it by any stretch of the imagination unless it tries to get actually in the restaurant.
Yeah.
But
and even then they're not really mean. They just sort of like
shush it away.
So
that was a really again, we ate there twice. We ate there the first night just because we thought we'd fill a gap.
And they were so nice, those people.
Yeah. And then the second night we
went for a little fancier, and then the third night, or last night, we went back for pizza because it's like I can't think of anything else I want to eat here because that was such good pizza.
Yeah. And the breakfast place, we found this basically it's a bakery that had a breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
And that was great. And they had good buns too. We went in there a couple times because we didn't have internet in our apartment, so we went in there for internet, and they would just have like baked goods. We should talk about
the Swedish cinnamon buns.
Swedish cinnamon buns is well worth talking about.
I actually went there with expectations of cinnamon buns because of the Camilla Lackberg novels I read about Fjällbacka. So like it's always like whenever she's talking, the main character is talking to somebody, they sit down for a coffee and a cinnamon bun, and they always talk about, I've eaten 4 cinnamon buns now. This is not good for me. But then I had a 5th one.
And they're good. The only thing I would say about Swedish cinnamon buns is it's a bit of a misnomer. Because cinnamon is not really the predominant flavor you get. There is cinnamon in it for sure, but it's definitely cardamom.
Yeah, that's true. They have cardamom and they have these little sugar pearls on the outside.
I bought a box, which I'm going to bake with someday. I don't know what I'll make with them, but they're amazing. So basically it's a bun with like cinnamon and cardamom, and then most of the sugar actually comes from like a crunchy sugar pearls, as Allison calls them.
That's what they're called on the bag.
So basically like sugar pearls, these like crunchy sugar pearls that you scatter on the top. And these cinnamon buns are so good.
I wouldn't call them crunchy, I'd call them crispy.
Crispy, yeah.
Yeah, because like, I mean, in my mind when I hear pearls, I think of sort of hard and shiny, but they're not. Mm. They're just like sort of enlarged grains, almost. Yeah.
And I mean, the one thing you have to sort of get over though is the idea that if you go there thinking Cinnabon, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, but I wasn't disappointed.
No.
And they had like a variety. And they you expect the swirl, right?
Mhm.
But they were more like knotted.
Yeah, sometimes they'd be swirled, but sometimes they'd be knotted like.
We got multicolored ones one day.
Yeah, like you can really get anything, any shape you want in the. They call them cinnamon buns, but it's kind of, again, it's like its own thing, and it's it's the one thing, like, often what would you say you need to try? It's like the cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
That's the thing you need to try in Sweden.
For sure. They did not disappoint.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because like a lot of the stuff is like stuff you find at IKEA. Same with the Marabou chocolate.
Yeah, but the stuff that you get at IKEA just isn't the same.
I have to be honest, I was thinking about this while we were there. I don't know if I've ever had a cinnamon bun in IKEA. Like, I can't recall.
Surely you have.
I must have, but I don't recall it.
I have.
And did they taste like cinnamon buns, or did they have the cardamom in them?
They were more Cinnabon-y.
So yeah, so that's why I like.
But they have to adjust for the tastes of the country they're in, right?
But you'd think a place like Toronto would be like okay with trying something different, because you can get, if you want a cinnamon bun, you could get it. So it'd be like, oh, well, these are IKEA ones, they're more cardamom-y.
I know you're from there and everything, but Toronto is not as flexible as you think it is.
Maybe. But
it's very multicultural. It's the most multicultural city in the world. There's restaurants from everywhere, like absolutely everywhere, and it's wonderful. But they do have to adjust to Canadian tastes every once in a while.
It seems odd. Like, cardamom doesn't seem like a flavor that would scare too many people off. So
I could list a few names for you.
Okay. But the cinnamon buns were definitely like the highlight snack, and we ate a lot of them. In general, the pastries were good, but the cinnamon bun was sort of like your safe go-to.
Yeah, but we did try other pastries.
Yeah. Well, particularly we went to
I keep trying to talk about Copenhagen, but
I know. That's
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Next episode.
Yeah. That was a train drive away. So, but yeah, I think that's.
Oh, and strawberries.
Strawberry. I actually wrote a blog about this. It might be out by the time, or it might come out later. But there was a lot of weird strawberry. There's a weird strawberry thing that happened to us on this trip. In that, we started in Finland, and we decided at a market on our way to pick up. We were going
for the ferry.
Yeah, just before we got on the ferry, we thought, we'll get some strawberries, and we got our food before, because we didn't want to spend a fortune on like just a buffet dinner. So we brought some food onto the ferry, and we bought some strawberries. When we bought the strawberries, the woman that was working the stand found out that, we mentioned that we were getting on the ferry, and we wanted something to take with us. And she was like, oh, good, because you wouldn't want to deal with those horrible Swedish strawberries. And it's just like, suddenly there was like the aggression that came out of nowhere about these strawberries. And so we were like, there's a rivalry going on. And the Finnish strawberries we ate were quite good.
My God, they were so good.
We did end up bringing a few into Sweden because we had it leftovers, but
not many.
But then when we were in Ystad, we went for a little road trip to this pile of rocks, which is more interesting than it sounds.
It's sort of like a ship-shaped Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And it's from like the 800s or something.
Yeah. So we went to this pile of rocks, and on our way back, to and back, we noticed a stand selling strawberries. And so we thought, well, we have to get strawberries here now because we have to compare. Frankly, I don't know if...
They were also really good.
I think they were a little bigger. I think if I had to describe the difference, I think...
Yeah, maybe they were sweeter.
Maybe.
But that's because when we were in Finland, we had a choice between sweet and not as sweet.
Yeah.
And we picked the not as sweet, but we didn't have a choice in the little stand in Sweden. Like, it was one of those unmanned things where you just put your money in a little slot.
But I would say, like, from an outsider's point of view, I don't see a rivalry.
Yeah, it's like
I don't feel like
much the same.
We ate trash strawberries in Sweden. They were really good strawberries too.
I got to say though, it's no secret that I adore Finland. Like,
yeah.
I love Finland, and so, I was having this exasperating conversation with a Swede in a grocery store, and then And then it sort of resolved itself. And so he says, oh, so how are you enjoying Sweden? And I'm like, oh, it's great. It's no Finland. And he goes, I hate Finland.
Yeah. Like that's sort of, there's this weird rivalry there. It's, I'm sure I'm not familiar with the history, but I know there is some. So I imagine that's where it comes from. But it's like,
I think Sweden once conquered
yeah.
Finland, and
it's so weird.
I don't know.
It's so weird.
European history in general, I just confuses the crap out of me.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was weird. It was
It was weird. It was weird. But so this, I just gotta say, strawberries all around, excellent.
Yes.
Strawberries we saw in grocery stores, not as good, cheaper, but they didn't look as good.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed the farm fresh ones that we got.
Oh, and lingonberries in Sweden are great, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it is it's not always jam, so it's nice. You can just get just frozen, nice, slightly sour lingonberries, and often mixed with other berries, and it's really good. And every time I'd have yogurt or anything, that's what I would go for. So, but it's actually a thing. It's not it's one of those IKEA things that you think, oh, maybe they just do this for IKEA. So nope.
No, it's really a thing. But there's I didn't find any cloudberries at all in Sweden. I think it's a Finnish thing.
Yeah, we got some cloudberry stuff in Finland, which we're excited about.
We thought we would see it in Sweden as well, but we didn't.
Yeah, because we figured same environment, but I don't know.
Well, we chose to go south though, so.
Yeah, it's true. So, I think that's about it for Sweden.
Yeah, I think that's probably enough.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Definitely.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We stayed in the old town in Stockholm, so that was really kind of sweet. Very nice, right on the water, well, close to the water, across the street from
Little
the
town life was good to us.
Yep, little town.
A little confusing to drive through, but.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah. But okay. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of Junk Food on the Road, where we talked about
Sweden.
As always, you can follow us on Twitter @CandyCritic, or go to candycritic.org and find links to all the other social media, including Patreon and Facebook or whatever happens to be popular right now. You can also go to candycritic.org and find my 2 books, Snack Facts and Treats and Beasts, which are two cool books all about snacks and treats and fun stuff like that. So go to candycritic.org and get all that stuff. Support this podcast that you're listening to, all 5 of you. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.